Yo, welcome back to another video. We are in the Open Ultra League as the leagues have rotated. We're going to be rocking the Giratina, Registeel, and Poliwrath, but we're still trying to figure out what to use as our third Pokemon. The main core is the Giratina and Registeel here. Here we kind of have a core breaker for our team. The Poliwrath and the Giratina are not looking forward to this Ninetales right here, so this is just a matter of just trying to be tricky with the catching, or maybe just trying to farm it down after losing the lead. But we decided to try to catch the move. Unfortunately, it didn't work. We're going to go into our Registeel here. We get met with the Virizion, so this is a bad matchup to a bad matchup. Our best case scenario here is if we get our opponent not to shield, because we are able to get to two Focus Blasts against this Virizion. We'll take it out, but they decided to shield it, and we are in a terrible position. We know that they're not running Stone Edge, so we decided to let this go here. We're going to go for this Dragon Claw. This Dragon Claw doesn't even take out that Virizion. And then here we're trying to counter down, but they're going to get to a move. They did farm up to the Dazzling Gleam, so we decided to shield. We did shield the correct Dazzling Gleam. This is going to be a Weather Ball here, so we get the resisted, but they already have a move on the Virizion, so this is going to be huge Elite Blade damage. And then we're just going to farm down. What do they have in the back here? What do we think? Oh, unfortunately for us, it ends up being the Golisopod here. Golisopod is really good against the water types. And let's see. Okay, they even have Aerial Ace here, so unfortunately, no way for us to kind of sneak out of that situation. It was just a team comp. But it's okay. We give it another try. We'll see what our opponents and the meta is running. But like I said, the Giratina Regicore is pretty solid. We're just trying to figure out what we want to use for our third Pokemon. Here we go, Jellicent right here. You know, another one of those situations where it's pretty neutral against our entire team. Pretty good against our Poliwrath. Here, this Giratina is able to survive the Shadow Ball, so this is our best bet to take out this Jellicent. And let's see what our opponent ends up doing. We're going to go for this Shadow Sneak here. Our opponent ends up shielding it, so they do want the lead, and they do want to preserve that Jellicent. Here, we're going to anticipate the Shadow Ball. We do get the shield on the Shadow Ball, and we're not going to be able to farm and dip, so we're going to have to throw this Focus Blaster. And unfortunately, again, we have another core breaker in the bag. This Trevenant is pretty decent against our backline here, especially against that Poliwrath. So far, Poliwrath is not welcomed in Ultra League so far. We try to make it work, but so far, a lot of people don't want to see Poliwrath around. So we're just going to go for this Zap Cannon here, potentially taking out this Trevenant. Our opponent ends up letting it go. And we actually see the Charizard in the back. So another Pokemon that's pretty decent against our Poliwrath here. They go for the Blaster right there, which is resisted. And we're going to go for this Icy Wind Date. We do get the shield. And then our opponent here is going to be able to get to a Dragon Claw here. We have to shield here just to keep this health alive. Here, oh, we lagged a little bit right there. We were trying to get that Scold off, but either way, it would have been tough to come back from that situation. So we're going to change up this team a little bit, I believe. We're going to change out that Poliwrath. It's just not working right now. And we're going to run the Shadow Charizard. So Shadow Charizard is going to be able to protect against the fairies and ice types that Giratina are weak to a little bit better. Here we have a great lead. They switch out into the Jellicent. This time we are going to be able to counter the Jellicent with our own Registeel. This Registeel is going to be looking forward to the Zap Cannon. The Zap Cannon ends up getting shielded, and we get the debuff, so that's best of both worlds right there. And then we're going to try to throw this Zap Cannon off timing. We don't want our move to be CAP tied. We're going to go for another Zap Cannon right here. It doesn't quite take out the Jellicent, and we're going to let this go here in case it's a bait. They go for the Surf Bait, so it's a nice call by us right there. They're going to go for another Surf to take out this Reggie. You know that this Jellicent is energy dry, so we're going to farm down with that Giratina. And then our opponent ends up having the Mandibuzz in the back here, so we're going to have to somehow, some way, get this Mandibuzz low enough to where maybe we get farmed down with the Charizard, or I don't know. We do have two shields to work with, so we're going to try to wiggle out of this situation. Mandibuzz here is going to be able to throw these foul plays. These foul plays coming in hot, super effective, but as you can see, Giratina tanky enough to tank the foul plays, super effective. So that's 2 foul plays tanked, and obviously the next one will be taking us out. So we're going to get these Dragon Claws out as fast as possible, even throwing on non-optimal timing sometimes. And then here we're going to throw our Charizard in. We're going to shield here. It ends up being the Aerial Ace. And then now we have the Galvantula versus the Charizard. We're going to go for this Dragon Claw bait. Here comes the decision. Oh, we do get a shield. Okay. That's great. This is obvious shield here, and they go for the lunge. Makes sense. And then we're going to throw this Blast Burn as soon as possible because these Volt Switches are eating at us. And then we do have a Manabuzz here that has a move. Ends up being the Aerial Ace. We barely survive when we get one wing attack in to farm down for the win right there. So GG's to our opponent. Shadow Charizard coming in clutch, taking out the Manabuzz, taking out the Galvantula. 2 shields versus 1 right there. Excellent. So Machamp right here is going to get switched out to the Ampharos. So we're going to switch into our Registeel because we don't want this Registeel to be matched up against that Machamp. So easy decision for us. We're going to go for this Focus Blast right here. Does the neutral damage. Roughly 50%, maybe a little bit above 50%. It is able to get to another move. They go for the Trailblaze right here for some reason. We're going to get to another Focus Blast right here. Right before they get to the move, they decide to let it go because they want to come in with their Machamp, possibly farm down. But we're not going to allow that. We're going to switch out immediately because we have Giratina and Charizard pretty good against the Machamp. We get matched up against the Melmetal right here, which is not really a counter to this Giratina. This Giratina is going to be able to resist the fast moves from Melmetal, and we're only taking Rock Slides right now. We are able to throw neutral Shadow Sneaks back at this Melmetal. We barely don't take it out right there, so we're gonna have to tank another Rock Slide right here. We know that Machamp is coming back in, so we're gonna go into our Charizard immediately. Look at the wing attacks going through. Already 40% held done, and they know that it is GG's right there because we're gonna be able to shield and farm our way out of that situation. So here we go. Next game here. Let's see what we can find. Can we flip this set here? Okay, we have a okay lead. They decided to switch out into the Registeel, so we don't have to switch out immediately right here because we actually want to ship and wait for them to throw a move. We want to use our Charizard here when they throw their move. Okay, perfect. So their Energy Drive, we're going with our Charizard right here. We can get to this Blast Burn before they get to the Zap Cannon. And we know that, okay, this decided to let it go. So we know that we're going to be able to get to this Blast Burn here and potentially get some damage. Okay, the Tapu Fini ends up shielding. We decided to let this go because they're going to be able to farm us down. And now we have the situation we want. We're going to go into our Registeel versus their Tapu Fini. That's what we wanted all along. So they decided to go for the Surf here. We know that they're going to power switch out. They go for the Cresselia, and we're going to go back into our Giratina. So somehow we flip the match between Giratina versus Tapu Fini to Giratina versus this Cresselia. We are able to get to these Shadow Sneaks here. We did tank that Moonblast because we could survive it. And here we're actually going to consider shielding here because we actually want the extra damage. And we actually throw on CAP. We're going to potentially get this shield or KO this Cresselia, and all we have to do now is just switch back into our Registeel when they go into their Tapu Fini. We go for the Zap Cannon immediately. We get the debuff, so this game is all but over because we got the debuff, we have a shield, and we have the Zap Cannon coming up right there. So check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.